Good morning, Wright State University, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU. Start your day the right way with us. We will be covering current events in the news, local, national, and from Wright State. We will provide a daily dose of inspiration and positivity to lighten your day. And we will have a special feature depending on the day of the week. So grab your tea or your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Wright Morning Show. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM for Monday, September 20th. 2021. With me this morning, I have Laughing Chipmunk joining through Discord. Laughing Chipmunk, how are you this morning?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my gosh, my phone is working today.
Yeah, it's actually working today.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, you were having problems on Friday, weren't you?
Yeah, I still can't figure out what the heck happened.
Yeah, that was really weird.
I know.
Well,
but hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here today.
So, we are going to be covering your local headlines, local and national headlines for today. Then we're going to have a topic on that your brain secretly works with other brains, according to mindful.org. So that should be pretty interesting, talking a little bit about collective consciousness. And then for the final 20 minutes of today's show, we're going to get into some sports news and things that are happening in Raiders sports specifically. And then we might cover a couple of things in other sports as well, but it's primarily going to be focused on Wright State sports. With that being said, let's get into your current headline. Let's get into today's headlines. From WHIO, Fairborn is hosting a Hairborn Rock Music Festival today. The event will be held at 5 North Broad Street from 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. There will be performances from That Arena Rock Show, The Weekend Effect, Stranger, and Spongeworthy, according to event organizers. Stranger will kick off the show at 3 p.m. Along with music, there will also be beer and food vendors. Tickets are $10 at the gate. Event organizers released the schedule. Stranger from 3 to 4 p.m., The Weekend Effect from 4:30 to 5:30, Spongeworthy from 6 to 7:30, and That Area Rock Show from 8 to 10. So be sure to check that out. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that was Saturday. My bad. I just realized the date of publication. That was Saturday.
And I missed it.
Yeah. All right, so. From Dayton.com, Best of Dayton has started. Here's how you can nominate. It's time to tell us who's the best of Dayton. We're looking for your help in picking the best in the area in 100 contests, from food to drinks to services and more. You can nominate once per day per contest using your email and giving you 15 days to nominate your favorites before Dayton.com chooses the finalists to start voting. So to do that, just there's a nomination page on Dayton.com. Click on one of the 5 categories they have, which is food, restaurants and dining, bars, breweries and nightlife, arts, entertainment and music, people and place, and shopping, gifts and services. Then you'll see a list of the contests. You can scroll down through the list on the left and through the fields on the right. Click into nomination name. If it's your first nomination of the day, you'll be asked to enter your email address and then type in your nomination in the Your Nomination field and click Nominate. So nominations will be September 20th through October 4th. Voting will be October 18th through November 8th. And then the winners will be announced Sunday, December 12th. So if you have a local business you admire, be sure to nominate them for the Best of Dayton. From WHIO, food trucks from around the area met for Fashion Meets food truck rally in Dayton. The Fashion Meets food truck rally took place in Dayton over the weekend. Over 100 food vendors, many of them food trucks, and a few informational vendors attended the event. According to a Facebook post for the rally, this was their biggest event of the year. The event was the brainchild of Ty Winston, a local business owner who owns 3 businesses in Dayton. Her businesses teach local retail companies about what's need, legal and otherwise, to become business owners. From the Dayton Daily News, Beaver Creek graduate is walking 5,000 miles for suicide prevention awareness. Let me see if Dayton Daily will allow me to access the article. Okay. On the morning of September 10th, Ben Shuffle Linginger laced up his boots on a beach just outside of Boston and started his walk. The 31-year-old Beaver Creek native has embarked on a year-long journey across the United States, the first leg of which will raise money for mental health and suicide prevention. Accepting no rides and journeying entirely on foot, his route will take him south and west before hopefully ending in Seattle. Linginger estimates the hike will take him 9 to 12 months, and he hopes to hit cities and landmarks like New York City, the Appalachian Trail, Houston, the Grand Canyon, Crater Lake, and Olympic National Park. I'm waking up to a new place every single day, he said. Usually camping in some trees or off the side of the road, I fool myself into believing there's a destination, but it's not about the destination. It's about the meditational practice of walking several miles a day, and allows me to meet a great depth of people. The trek will help Washington, D.C. based nonprofit Active Minds, which works to destigmatize mental illness and encourage positive conversation about mental health and suicide, particularly among college students. The stories and mission coming out of that organization were so genuine, I thought immediately that was something I could get behind, Linginger said. It all fell into place, the stars aligned, and I started the walk on World Suicide Prevention Day. You can read more at DaytonDailyNews.com, so that's pretty interesting and pretty cool that he's doing that. All right, from WDTN, beer event highlights Dayton craft breweries. Dayton's Beer, a celebration of Dayton brewing, returns to the Yellow Cab Tavern, or returned rather, on Saturday, bringing together 17 of Dayton's craft breweries for the 6th year in a row. With restaurants and bars needing support more than ever, we couldn't be more excited to be bringing back the annual event that focuses exclusively on local breweries, Brian Johnson said. There's a bunch of craft beer events, but this one is all about local and the unique and high-quality beers that they each exhibit. It's hard to imagine a much better scene than what we have here at Dayton right now. You can check that out at WDTN.com. From WHIO, Ohio players return home and play a free show at Levitt Pavilion. The Ohio Players, one of the most famous musical groups to come out of Dayton, came home Saturday to play a free concert at Levitt Pavilion as part of the 2021 Eichelberger concert season. Band members James Diamond Williams and Clarence Chet Willis told News Center 7's Michael Gordon that the crowd in the Dayton area have grown up with them over the years. Sylvia Mosley Robinson is an example of that. She said she's been following the Ohio Players since 1970 and has passed her love of the group onto her family. She brought her 18-month-old grandson to the free show on Saturday. You can read more at WHIO. From WYSO, Dayton's Ombudsman is under a budget threat. Ooh, that's not good. This coming year, the city of Dayton is projecting a cash shortflow, and the city manager's office wants to cut off funds to the Ombudsman, according to WYSO. In 1971, leaders of the Dayton Board of Education, the Dayton City Commission, and the Montgomery County Commission joined together to create an independent oversight agency, the Dayton Montgomery County Ombudsman's Office. The Ombudsman is kind of like a helper of last resort for people who are struggling to get what they need from the government. And over the years, the Ombudsman has fielded a lot of calls from local residents on everything from unfilled potholes to missing food stamps. But this coming year, the city of Dayton is projecting a cash shortflow, and the city manager's office wants to cut off its funds to the Ombudsman. WYSO's Jason Saul called up Deanne Wellborn, the Dayton Montgomery County Ombudsman, to learn some more about her office and what the proposed budget cuts will mean. You could check out the transcript of that interview by going to wyso.org. All right, we're going to now go into global and national news. First off, we're going to check up with, let's see here, the New York Times. Hurricane Ida's path of destruction exposed a harsh climate reality. The U.S. is not prepared for extreme weather. Nearly a week after the storm made landfall in Louisiana, roughly 70% of energy customers in New Orleans are still without power. Cleanup crews are working to contain what experts call a substantial oil spill that Ida left in the Gulf of Mexico. In New York City, 13 people died, many of whom drowned in basement apartments. The storm killed at least 25 people in New Jersey, more than any other state. As disasters become more severe, the cost of rebuilding has skyrocketed. Extreme weather has caused more than $450 billion in damage nationwide since 2005. And the number of disasters costing more than $1 billion of damage reached a record 22 last year. The price tags mean that the U.S. faces another climate dilemma: how to decide which places to try and save. After a summer of fires and storms, President Biden and progressive Democrats are using the moment to push for aggressive climate provisions in a sweeping $3 to $5 trillion budget bill. Students are returning to the classrooms, and anxiety is rising over the coronavirus. There are 48 million U.S. children under 12 who have not yet been eligible for the COVID-19 shots. Parents are feeling increasingly backed into a corner as they reluctantly send their children back into the classroom or resort to drastic actions to keep them safe. About a fifth of Kentucky school districts have had to close temporarily because of coronavirus infections since classes began last month. The highly contagious Delta variant has sent pediatric COVID hospitalizations soaring across the country, according to two new CDC studies. And mask wars persist. At universities, some instructors are finding the return to a classroom a nerve-wracking experience. In the chaotic finale of America's 20-year war in Afghanistan, a Biden doctrine is emerging. A foreign policy that avoids forever wars while addressing rising powers. China as America's existential competitor, Russia as a disruptor, Iran and North Korea as nuclear proliferators. Cyber threats are ever evolving. Terrorism spreading far beyond Afghanistan. The Biden doctrine calls for a return to protecting human rights and promoting democracy, but only when consistent with U.S. goals, our Washington reporters wrote in an analysis. Mr. Biden has said that the evacuation of Kabul was handled as efficiently as possible, but the documents obtained by the Times suggest otherwise. Meanwhile, Afghans are starting to get a glimpse of life under the Taliban. Their fighters violently suppressed a women's protest on Saturday in Kabul. Safe houses for women are closing in a matter of days as the Taliban began their advance in August. An estimated 7.5 million people will lose federal unemployment benefits. The checks going to millions more will drop by $300 per week. The money has helped stave off a financial ruin for millions of laid-off workers over the past year and a half. But this cutoff is the latest and arguably the largest of the benefit cliffs that jobless workers are facing. The loss of the added benefits could have long-term effects, not just for recipients, but also for the economy. If your finances took a hit from the pandemic, it's especially important to conduct 3 types of check-ins. A finance columnist writes, find someone wiser than you, check your credit report and your taxes, and stop catastrophizing. The New York Times has an article about that if you want to learn more about how to do that. The entry of cryptocurrencies into banking is disrupting financial services and leaving regulators scrambling to catch up. The boom in companies offering crypto loans and high-yield deposit accounts has pushed up officials from the Federal Reserve and other regulators into what they are calling a crypto sprint to figure out how to curb the high-stakes industry's potential trade dangers. Officials warn that crypto services are vulnerable to hackers and fraud. The development of thousands of cryptocurrencies in a little over a decade has changed the definition of money. Bitcoin, the most popular cryptocurrency, uses more electricity than many entire countries. I'm going to say that again because I've read about this and this is really interesting. Bitcoin, the amount of energy used to harvest Bitcoin totals up to more electricity than entire countries are using. That is a lot. Continuing on, 4 centuries after they were hunted to extinction in Scotland for their fur, beavers are back, and so is the age-old battle with humans. Beavers have incurred the wrath of a farming community as they decimate trees, build dams that flood fields, or wreck drainage systems and riverbanks. Some farmers have obtained permits to kill the otherwise protected animals, setting off outrage among conservationists and igniting a debate about farming, biodiversity, and the future of Scotland's countryside. In other conservation news, the caretakers of an orphan elephant known as Nanya are hoping to reunite her with her family in Burkina Faso. DNA testing revealed that her mother is probably roaming nearby. All right, if you want to read more about the weekend briefing, you could check out the New York Times. We're going to now go to Cheddar Need to Know. From Reuters, Dr. Fauci is downplaying confusion over who is eligible for a vaccine booster after the Federal Drug Administration's advisory panel on Friday decided against recommending booster shots of the Pfizer vaccine for the general population. The panel voted unanimously to recommend boosters for people 65 and up and other vulnerable Americans, but stopped short of signing off on President Biden's plan for a widespread booster campaign. Fauci said that the recommendation is not the end of the story, and a final FDA decision on the booster question is expected this week. From CNN, authorities in Wyoming have announced that they found a body consistent with the description of Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old woman who disappeared while on a road trip with her fiancé earlier this month. The man, Brian Laundrie, has been named a person of interest in Petito's disappearance, but he hasn't been seen in almost a week. An autopsy to confirm the identity and cause of death is scheduled for tomorrow. From Axios, both houses of Congress are back to work this week to kick off a 3-week legislative marathon. Democrats are under pressure to deliver on President Biden's infrastructure bill and the separate multi-trillion-dollar social spending bill, all while avoiding a government shutdown and debt ceiling fight. Senator Joe Manchin is throwing a wrench into the Dems' plans, reportedly saying he wants to pause the $3.5 trillion spending package until next year. From the Washington Post, the federal government has started a mass expulsion of Haitian migrants who were congregating at the southern Texas border, deporting hundreds of people by plane to Port-au-Prince and closing part of the U.S.-Mexico border, where a makeshift refugee camp had been growing to house more than 14,000 migrants. The Biden administration is conducting the deportations under the Trump-era public health order known as Title 42, which gives the government the authority to quickly expel migrants without giving them an opportunity to apply for asylum. From the New York Times, the Pentagon acknowledged that the drone strike that it originally said took out an ISIS terrorist plotting an imminent attack in the last days of the Afghanistan evacuation actually killed an innocent Afghan aid worker and 9 members of his family. The Defense Department called the case of a mistaken identity a horrible tragedy of war, but said it still stood by the intelligence that triggered the strike. Senator Bernie Sanders said on Sunday that the mistake was unacceptable. From the Wall Street Journal, the price of natural gas has been steadily climbing over the summer, which is rare, and is now leading to concerns that the cost of heating fuel could soar this winter, even if it does not get especially cold. Natural gas has been cheap in the U.S. ever since the shale boom of the early 2010s, but now low inventories around the world are making it more expensive than what's been since at least 2014, and winter is still months away. From Yahoo Sports, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens stunned Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in a 35-34 thriller last night. A shorthanded Ravens team was down 11 points at the start of the fourth quarter before Jackson ran for 2 touchdowns, including a clutch fourth down conversion to give Baltimore its first win over KC in 4 meets. From Variety, the streaming services are now the new kings or queens of the Emmys. Netflix's The Crown won Best Drama and a handful of the top acting awards, such as The Queen's Gambit, won for First Limited Series, and Apple's Ted Lasso took the Best Comedy prize at the Slim Down in-person ceremony. Jason Sudeikis won his first Emmy for Lasso, and Kate Winslet added another to her mantle for Mare of Easttown. As for snubs, Marvel's WandaVision had 23 nominations, but went home empty-handed. Cedric the Entertainer is getting high marks for his hosting duties, which included a song and dance opener that paid tribute to the late rapper Biz Markie. That concludes your current events for today. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get into your daily dose of inspiration. Today, we're going to be talking about collective consciousness, and from mindful.org, your brain secretly works with other brains. So we're going to talk a little bit about that right after our break. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9.
Hey, everyone. Check out Rush Week 2021.
And we're back to The Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to The Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. It is time for the Daily Dose of Inspiration. Today, we are going to talk about consciousness. Specifically, your brain secretly works with other brains, and this is from mindful.org. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett explains some of the ways your brain is constantly changing itself, usually without your awareness, as you interact with other people. So, before I get into the article, I'm going to quickly take the mic over to Laughing Chipmunk. Are you with us, Laughing Chipmunk?
Yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, have you noticed any, in your day-to-day life, have you ever noticed any moments where it appears that you're kind of on the same wavelength as somebody else?
Yeah, Rich.
Oh, jeez.
Seriously. I mean, sometimes we'll be thinking the same thing, and then we'll say it, and then he'll be like, "Get out of my head, woman," or I'll be like, "Get out of my head, man,"
Yeah.
and finishing each other's sentences and stuff like that. So yeah, we're pretty much on the same wavelength just about every day.
Yeah, so there may be an explanation for that. So we're going to go ahead
Okay.
and get into the article. We humans are a
Okay.
social species. We live in groups, we take care of one another. And part of being a social species, it turns out, is that we regulate one another's body budgets. Your body budget is your brain's accounting of the bodily resources, such as water, salt, glucose, and so on, that it has to spend and save. Each action that spends resources, such as swimming or running, is like a withdrawal from your account. Actions that replenish your resources, such as eating or sleeping, are like deposits. Your brain tries to predict and meet your biological needs before they arise to balance your body budget proactively. The people around you influence your body budget and even rewire your brain. Your brain changes its own wiring after new experiences, a process called plasticity. For example, microscopic parts of your neurons called dendrites become brushier and their associated neuroconnections become more efficient. The remodeling job requires energy from your body budget, so your brain needs a good reason to splurge. And a great reason is that the neuroconnections are used frequently to deal with the people around you. Little by little, your brain tunes itself as you interact with others. Our brains are like dance partners. Mutual body budgeting has measurable effects. Changes in one person's body often prompt changes in another person's body, whether the two are romantically involved, just friends, or even strangers meeting for the first time. When you're with someone you care about, your breathing can synchronize, as can the beating of your hearts, whether you're in casual conversation or a heated argument. The sort of physical connection happens between infants and their caregivers, between therapists and their clients, and among people taking a yoga class or singing in a choir together. We often mirror each other's movements in a dance that neither of us is aware of and that is choreographed by our brains. We also adjust each other's body budgets by our actions. If you raise your voice or even your eyebrow, you can affect what goes on inside other people's bodies, such as their heart rate or the chemicals carried in their bloodstream. If your loved one is in pain, you can lessen her suffering merely by holding her hand. It may seem obvious that loving relationships are good for us, but studies show that the benefits go beyond what common sense would suggest. If you and your partner feel that your relationship is intimate and caring, that you're responsive to each other's needs, and that life seems easy and enjoyable when you're together, then both of you are less likely to get sick. If you're already sick with a serious illness such as cancer or heart disease, you're more likely to get better with these intimate and strong relationships. These studies were conducted on married couples, but the results appear to hold for close friendships too, and even for pet owners. However, our social nature also carries some disadvantages. We also get sick and die earlier when we persistently feel lonely, possibly years earlier based on the data. Without someone else helping to regulate our body budgets, we can bear an extra burden. The best thing for your nervous system is another human. The worst thing for your nervous system is also another human. A surprising disadvantage of shared body budgeting is its impact on empathy. When you have empathy for people who are familiar to you, your brain efficiently predicts their inner struggles. But when people are less familiar to you, it can be harder to empathize. You might have to learn more about the person, meaning more withdrawals from your body budget, which can feel unpleasant. This may be one reason why people sometimes fail to empathize with those who look different or believe different things than they do. and why it can be and feel uncomfortable to try. We also regulate each other with words. A kind word may calm you, as when a friend gives you a compliment at the end of a hard day. A hateful word from a bully may cause your brain to predict threat and flood your bloodstream with hormones, squandering precious resources from your body budget. Right now, I could text the words I love you from the United States to my close friend in Belgium, and even though she cannot hear my voice or see my face, I will change her heart rate, her breathing, and her metabolism. Or someone could text something ambiguous to you like, "Is your door locked?" And odds are that it would affect your nervous system in an unpleasant way. I'm going to pause here. Just imagine, like, getting a text message from a random stranger saying, "Is your door locked?"
Yeah.
That would be kind of scary and weird.
Yeah, that'd be rather unnerving.
Very. These effects might not last long, but research show that we can all tweak one another's nervous systems quickly with mere words. In my research lab, for example, we asked participants to lie still in a brain scanner and listen to short descriptions of the situation, like this one. You are driving home after staying out drinking all night. The long stretch of road in front of you seems to go on forever. You close your eyes for a moment and the car begins to skid. You jerk awake. You feel the steering wheel slip in your hands. As our participants listen to these words, we see increased activity in regions of their brain that are involved in movement, even though their bodies are lying still. We see other activity in regions involving vision, even though their eyes are closed. And here's the coolest part. There's also increased activity in the brain system that controls heart rate, breathing, metabolism, the immune system, hormones, and other internal gunk and junk, all from processing the meanings of words. So why do the words you encounter have such wide-ranging effects inside you? Because many brain regions that process language also control the insides of your body, including major organs and systems that manage your body budget. These brain regions, which are contained in what scientists call the language network, guide your heart rate up and down. They adjust the glucose entering your bloodstream to fuel your cells. They change the flow of chemicals that support your immune system. The power of words is not a metaphor. It's in your brain wiring. So I'm going to pause here and kind of ask the people here, Laughing Chipmunk, have you ever experienced, moments where words have affected your physicality or your body, your heart rate, your metabolism, your breathing, etc.?
Yeah, definitely.
And what would you say has the most profound impact on you? What kinds of words would you say?
Angry words, hateful words, bullying words.
Yeah,
You know.
I noticed that too, and I think a lot of people can. I think a lot of people can attest to that, which I find very interesting. They say it takes 25 nice words to make up for one bad word.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on our article. So, how far can these effects of language go? For example, can words be harmful to your health? In small doses, not really. When someone says things you don't like or insults you or even threatens your physical safety, you might feel awful as your body budget is taxed in that moment, but there's no physical damage to your brain or your body. But if you're stressed over and over again without much opportunity to recover, the effects can be far graver. Yeah, just like we've heard of physical abuse, not physical abuse, verbal abuse before. I had a
Right.
feeling that was going to come up in this article. So
Mm-hmm.
chronic stress does more than just make you miserable in the moment. Over time, anything that contributes to chronic stress can gradually eat away at your brain and cause illness in your body. This includes physical abuse, verbal aggression, social rejection, severe neglect, and the countless other creative ways we social animals torment one another. Just watch Happy Tree Friends if you want to watch creative ways that we torment each other.
Oh, jeez.
Simply put, a long period of chronic stress can harm a human brain. Scientific studies are absolutely clear on this point. When you're on the receiving end of a sustained verbal aggression, for example, studies show that you're more likely to get sick. These studies of verbal aggression tested average people across the political spectrum, left, right, and the center. If people insult you, the words won't hurt your brain the first time, or the second, or maybe even the 20th. But if you're exposed to verbal aggression continually for months and months, or if you live in an environment that persistently and relentlessly taxes your body budget, words can indeed physically injure your brain. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. Your nervous system is bound up with the behavior of other humans for better or for worse. When you have empathy for people who are familiar to you, your brain efficiently predicts their inner struggles, but when people are less familiar to you, it can be harder to empathize. Oh, that's just a quote from a previous paragraph. That's weird that they threw it in that spot. So, this situation leads us to a fundamental dilemma of the human condition. The best thing for your nervous system is another human, but the worst thing for your nervous system is also another human. How then can we best respect each other as individuals who often disagree when we are social animals who regulate one another's nervous systems to survive? I think it comes down to this: freedom always comes with responsibility. We are free to speak and act, but we are not free from the consequences of what we say and do. We might not care about these consequences or might not agree that those consequences are justified, but they nonetheless have costs that we all pay. It's up to each of us to choose to be the kind of person who makes more deposits into each other's body budgets than withdrawals. And that is the article that was written by Lisa Feldman Barrett on mindful.org. What are your thoughts on these?
That's very interesting and very true.
Yeah, so it especially is true when we talk about uh, verbal abuse and verbal aggressive situations. They say
Mhm.
they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And as the article said, maybe it won't hurt you the first several times, but if you're in an environment where you're constantly fed these kinds of words and fed this kind of environment, you're going to start to empathize with that environment, and then your body is going to react to it.
Yeah.
So if you're in a very,
And
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
say, and then you start believing all those words, and
Yeah,
you're thinking, oh, it must be true then, and
yeah.
that's not healthy.
I was just about to say that in my next statement, especially if you're a child who lives, in a very toxic environment with your family or something like that, or
Yeah.
if you are a partner in a relationship and your partner is not very supportive, these kinds of things can definitely have a profound impact on you. When you get fed this information over and over again, you start to believe it. And even if you don't want to believe it, your body starts to take it in.
Right.
All right. So, on that note, I think it's time for our next break. And when we come back on the morning show, we're going to get into the latest happenings in Wright State sports because it is quote unquote Major League Monday. So, everybody stick around. You're listening to the Rat Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. And now it's time for the Raider Plug.
Here are some events happening on campus between Wednesday
And we're back to the Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the show. The Cork Minute, or the previous segment during the break, I forget the name of it already, has not been updated. I need to update that this morning. So I'm going to give you an up-to-date list of campus events that are happening this week. So first off, today we got WWSU. We have our first all DJ meeting in Medical Sciences 141 at 5 p.m. So all DJs are called to go to that meeting to get some important information and to vote on a new constitution and handbook. So be sure to attend that. Other events this week. Tuesday, we have running at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. in Alumni Tower. I would not be surprised if that gets canceled because there is rain in the forecast. But yeah, it might still go on. I've known the running group to continue running despite the rain. Little rain won't kill you. Let's see here. We got hiking on the campus trails on Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. That might get canceled because there is a fairly significant chance of rain on Wednesday, which we will talk about in a moment with your weather forecast. There's a Magic the Gathering night from 7 to 11 p.m., sponsored by the Tabletop Club in Fawcett Rooms 204 and 210 on Wednesday, so be sure to check that out. Let's see here. On Thursday, there's another running group from 5:30 to 6:30 at Alumni Tower. Let's see here. Friday, there is Carnival Land on North Lawn and Hamilton Plaza from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., so be sure to check that out. There's Raider Nights in the City Cincinnati Reds game from 5 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. at the Great American Ballpark. So some of the student organizations are going to a Reds game together, so that's pretty cool. There's sunset kayaking from 6 to 8 p.m. in Eastwood Metro Park Lake entrance. So that is what's going on this week, and here is your weather forecast brought to you by the National Weather Service and Tomorrow.io. But first, the current weather at Wright State University, brought to you by Tomorrow.io, is cloudy with a temperature of 74 degrees. The wind is coming from the south at 10 miles per hour, gusting to 20 miles per hour. It's a little breezy out there today, so be aware of that. The humidity is 66%, the visibility is 10 miles, and the air quality is moderate. Your hyperlocal 12-hour forecast shows cloudy skies until 12:30 p.m. and then some more rain on the way until 2 p.m., and then cloudy skies for the remainder of the 12-hour period. Your extended weather forecast brought to you by the National Weather Service at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Today, rain likely with a high around 80. Tonight, a chance of rain with a low in the upper 60s. Tuesday, a chance of rain in the morning, followed up with some thunderstorms in the afternoon, high around 80. Tuesday night, showers with a low around 60. 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible, and localized flooding is also possible Tuesday night, so be careful. Wednesday, showers high in the mid-60s. An additional 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible with more localized flooding, so be careful. So don't get flooded, and be sure to turn around. Don't drown if you're on the roadways Tuesday night and Wednesday. Wednesday night, showers continue, low in the upper 40s. It's going to be a much chillier night. Thursday, a slight chance of showers, high in the lower 60s. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low in the upper 40s. And then Friday, sunny, high around 70. So getting some cooler fall weather in the area during midweek, and a lot of it has to do with a tropical disturbance that is coming in and dumping a bunch of rain on us during Tuesday night and went through Wednesday night. That's basically what's happening.
I hope we get some of that rain here in West Virginia.
You probably will. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a tropical disturbance, so usually those things are pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to now go into your Major League Mondays. We're going to talk a little bit about the latest happenings in the sports world of Wright State University. So, on Saturday, the women's volleyball team plays NKU from 4 to 6 p.m. So be sure to tune into that. There's going to be live coverage of that game on WWSU Radio, brought to you by Parker Testa and one other person to whom have not been decided yet. So be sure to tune into that. Pre-game is 3:45 p.m. We're also going to try and do a watch party in the WWSU lobby. So we're going to have a video stream going on YouTube of the game. We're going to have a television playing that video stream in our lobby. So you could come over here, relax with your friends, socialize, and watch the game. All right, so here are some news from WrightStateRaiders.com. Croups' late second half goal leads to a double overtime draw yesterday afternoon in women's soccer. The Wright State women's soccer team used the late second half goal by Josie Krupp to knot Sunday's matchup at 1-1, but that would prove to be the final score as the Raiders and Youngstown State would play to a double overtime 1-1 draw at Alumni Field. Krupp found the back of the net off a misplay by Youngstown State keeper Brooklyn Kirkpatrick, who came out towards the 18-yard mark to play the ball, but saw it bounce right towards Krupp to tie the score in the 82nd minute. The Raiders and Youngstown State both would go to record 4 total shots across the 2 extra periods, but neither side could find the golden goal. Wright State outshot the visiting Penguins 24-15, including throwing out 12 shots in the second period while looking for the equalizer. The Raiders finished the afternoon with 11 shots on frame to Youngstown State's 8, while Wright State also had double the corner kick opportunities. You can read more at WSURaiders.com. From men's golf, Raiders Latfield quarter sets course record at Earl Yestingsmeyer Invite. Interesting. The Wright State golf team faced little opposition on the way to capturing the Earl Yestingsmeyer Invitational team title with a 22-under team score. That's impressive. While Cord Quarter won the Invitational title with his 10-under score. Wright State placed 4 individuals in the top 6 overall, and every Raider turned in finishes inside the top 13. The Raiders led wire to wire on the team side, carding team round totals of 271 and 269 in the first 2 rounds Friday, before a final round 278 on the way to their 818 total, 22 under finish. Wright State was an astounding 38 shots ahead of second place Bowling Green, who finished with a 16 over team score. Wow. Porter also led from the start, setting a tournament and Delaware Country Club competitive course record with his round of 62 to open the weekend, tallying 9 birdies and a single birdie on the way to the record round. Porter finished the tournament with a 68 in his second round Friday and a final round 70 on Saturday on the way to his 10-under finish, 4 shots ahead of second place Casey Lilly of Purdue Fort Wayne. That's pretty impressive. The golf team is playing like pros, shooting under par quite significantly there. Powers double-double. Stephenson's 45 assists pushed the Raiders past UTSA in women's volleyball. The Wright State volleyball team wrapped up play in the Marquette Invitational with a 5-set win over UTSA on Saturday afternoon in the Raiders' final non-conference match of the season. Wright State now turns its attention to Horizon League play, which will begin at home for the Raiders this Saturday inside the McLean Gymnasium against none other Northern Kentucky. On Saturday, Wright State and UTSA traded set wins, with the Raiders grabbing a 25-17 first set victory and a 25-21 third set win, while UTSA won the second and fourth set by scores of 25-14 and 25-20 to set up to the deciding fifth set that Wright State won 15-11. Celia Powers finished with a double-double behind 21 digs and 15 kills to lead the Raiders, while Teddy Sauer added 12 kills of her own. Wright State finished with 7 aces, including 3 from Ellie Ruskop, while Sauer and Nysa Baker each stuffed 5 blocks in the win. Powers turned away 4 blocks of her own as the Raiders notched 13 total blocks as a team. Lainey Stephenson passed 45 assists, 2 shy of her season high, while the Raiders had 104 total digs over the 5 sets, led by Jenna Story's 29. In addition to Story and Powers, Stephenson and Jenny Mori also finished with double-digit digs. You can read more at Wright State Raiders, WSURaiders.com. From men's soccer, first half goals lift Raiders past the Green Bay at Alumni Field. The Wright State men's soccer team used a trio of first half goals to append visiting Green Bay and give the Raiders a 3-1 victory in their first home Horizon League match of the year on Saturday at Alumni Field. The Raiders set back in the second half with a 3-goal cushion, but only allowed the lone Green Bay goal off a penalty kick opportunity in the 84th minute. Wright State got on the board early in the 16th minute when Zion Beaton was able to chip at the ball past the Green Bay keeper, who had come out to try and play the ball off a pass ahead from Sandro Bronquinho. Bronquinho tallied his score 10 minutes later off an assist from Chris Gradis before Connor Osterholt recorded his first goal of the season in the 38th minute off of a corner kick from Reese Albog. Thanks to its second half push, Green Bay outshot the Raiders 12-10 overall, but both sides put 6 attempts on frame. Osterholt finished with 3 attempts, all on frame, to pace the Wright State offense, while Bronquinho had 2 shots of his own. On the other hand, Raider goalkeeper Sebastian Jimenez finished with 5 saves in the win. The Raiders head back on the road for the next match, making the short trip to take on Northern Kentucky Saturday night, scheduled for a 7 p.m. start. So not only do we have women's volleyball at home with the women's volleyball team, but we also have away at Northern Kentucky, we have the Raiders playing against Northern Kentucky in men's soccer. You can read this and more in terms of Wright State sports by going to WSURaiders.com. I think at this point, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up the show a little bit here. I do want to make an announcement that Parker Testa and Shay Neal are working on a new weekly morning show to take place in Ray Cafe in the Raj Soin College of Business. And that is up in the air to be determined when it will begin, but they're thinking about beginning within the next week or two. That show will run from 8 to 10 a.m. every Monday morning. So we at the Right Morning Show will not be on the air Mondays when that morning show starts. Instead, our schedule will be switching to Tuesdays through Fridays once that morning show starts. I am going to collaborate a little bit with the morning show that they're doing to bring you the latest news, headlines, and weather reports on that show. But the Right Morning Show will be discontinuing Mondays once that morning show starts. I will keep you up to date. And you could get the latest information about this show and other shows by joining our social media. So be sure to check out WWSU's social media. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also check us out on YouTube for videos of broadcasts and other streams as well. Check us out in our Discord. So you could go to our website, wwsu1069.org. There's a button there to click where you could join our Discord server. And there you can chat with the DJs, with the directors, and get live notifications of your favorite shows, such as schedule changes, when they go live, and so on and so forth. So be sure to check that out. You could also tune in to the radio station either on WWSU 106.9 FM or on the website, WWSU1069.org. And we're going to go ahead and give you a rundown of the shows for you to check out today. So be sure to check out our programming. Today we have from 12 to 1 p.m., the Guardian Media Group is doing the Raider Report. So get the latest news and updates with regards to the happenings here on campus in the Raider Report. So that's 12 to 1 p.m. today. And then immediately following that, we have Scotty Kramer, who is doing Second Down with Scotty. And he covers a wide range of different sports news and happenings, not just here on Wright State, but in the sports world in general. So he covers a lot of different sports, so be sure to check that out. That's 1 to 2 p.m. today on WWSU Radio. With that being said, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Laughing Chipmunk, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and Espen, who was listening on Discord, thank you for listening in as well. And we will see you all tomorrow for another edition of the Rat Morning Show. Tomorrow's Trivia Tuesday, so bring your thinking caps, bring your family and friends. We're going to have a good game of trivia. Everybody, have a great day, and see you tomorrow.
It'll be ready in just